And also, Gun Owners of America stepped up the day it happened during the raid. I was talking to Larry Pratt on the phone while we were being raided, and they pledged their support. And then just the general population. And the other thing we have to realize is there's 80 million gun owners. If every one of them put up $1 for this defense fund, you can imagine the kind of financial backing we would have to fight this. And just imagine what would happen if they all put up $10. And I'm sure every one of those 80 million gun owners could afford $10 to fight this, because once they take us down, everybody else is going to go with it. This is not just a hunting issue. If they don't take my clay pigeons away from me, then it doesn't affect me, but it will, because they will come for your shotguns and your clay pigeons and your target rifles and hunting rifles. We'll start with the most obvious stuff that, looks like military weapons, and we'll just work our way down.
There is a new wrinkle that the ATF is following. As you know, in the Len Savage case, he had submitted an accessory, and they wrote him a letter saying this is a non-firearm. And 9 months later, they came back and said, well, we've decided to reclassify this as a firearm and make it a machine gun, as a matter of fact, based on characteristics and features. There was no definition of what characteristics and features were. It was all very vague. So if they can take a non-firearm, reclassify it based on what they call characteristics and features, then they can certainly take every existing firearm, which would have characteristics and features of a firearm, and declare them to be illegal. And what I've seen from our Congress, they would probably go along with that. I don't think we gun owners have any friends in Congress. It'd be nice to be proven wrong on that point.
Well, you probably have one.
One's not going to be enough.
Right, true. We need more.
100 won't be enough either, quite frankly.
Right, yeah, we have to have a majority in there. And the gun owners need to really step up to the plate on this. I know, the trap shooters don't like the target shooters don't like the black powder people don't like the military shooters, and the military shooters don't like the cowboy action shooters. So we're all fragmented, and we really all need to band together, because they will take everybody's firearms if we don't stop them.
It almost sounds like the ATF and the United Nations have a symbiotic relationship when you think about it. Well, you've done some paper interviews, some newspaper interviews, and how did those go?
Most of the papers have been quite fair. They've quoted me correctly. They've done some really good articles. And we actually got the most information. Of course, we haven't been contacted by the ATF yet, or FBI, with any details. Our local newspaper has printed more information from the ATF and the Sheriff's Department than we've been able to get trying to contact them. Now, the warrant didn't have the signed affidavit, which is supposed to accompany it. They all claim it exists, but no one has seen it except the supposed ATF agents. And even in the newspaper this week, the July 12th issue of the Dillon Tribune, the sheriff has admitted that he did not see the affidavit, but was confident that everything was in order. I don't know how you do that.
This is why the sheriff was not reelected.
True. Well, actually, this happened the day after the election, so I can't say that was it. But
okay. I stand corrected.
Yeah, and I know the new sheriff is going to be far worse.
Or less helpful, I guess.
Right.
Well, that's interesting. The sheriff is supposed to work for the people, not for the federal government. And now you have a situation in, of all places, Montana, where they've infiltrated the state to put in their own lackeys. So it appears.
And one of the other things that this is Agent Glenn from the ATF. She quotes, in regard to Celata's claim that he is not under the constraints of the law due to his interpretation. Now, they can have interpretations, but I can't. Of the 80% statement, that's essentially the fact issue that is going to have to be determined by a court. So when I read the law and what requires an 80%, that's my interpretation. but when they read it, it's the law, and they interpret it different.
Again, there's no standardized testing procedures, and there's no standardized details given to people to comply with their interpretation. This is a good example of the arbitrary and capricious approach of the ATF in enforcing their regulations. Of course, we all know there's nothing new about that. This is one of the reasons why the agency must be abolished. I might add, that's one of the reasons we're doing the movie, The Gang, the documentary, to help people understand all the problems that you have outlined, along with other people who have suffered at the hands of a government gone bad. Why don't you tell people where they can reach you?
My website is KT Ordnance, ORDNANCE. There's no I in Ordnance. And the phone number is 406-834-3611.
If you would do that one more time for people.
KT Ordnance, ORDNANCE. The phone number is 406-834-3611.
So I understand that your lawyer has told you to go back into production?
He has. We're having our big open house on July 15th, and we hope to actually cut metal at the beginning of the following week.
Well, tell people to bring along some guns. They can do a little target shooting.
Yeah, actually, our Whiskey Day Memorial Machine Gun Shoot 80% Gun Bill and Ice Cream Social that we do every year. This year we won't be building anything because they stolen most of my inventory, or all of my inventory. So we will just be doing some shooting. We have 2 training courses. The Montana Shooting Association is going to be here doing a 2-day rifle course and a 1-day handgun course. We just have a lot of fun, a lot of like-minded people. And so if you can make next year's, visit the website and get details on it.
You have a 200-yard range, don't you?
800-yard range. For all you people that have those big 50 BMGs, you can come out and do some real shooting.
Yeah, we need to get those folks on board. Richard, I want to thank you very much for being on Talkin to America today. Our guest has been Richard Celata with KT Ordnance. My name is Aaron Zellman. I've been your host, and I'd like all of you to remember, if you won't defend your rights, don't complain when you lose them.
Opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of JPFO.org or its members. Talkin' to America is a production of JPFO.org.